I figured I would conduct an experiment on myself again. This time it's fairly tame, and it won't cause nightmares this time. You see, I have noticed tons of shows that have clips on YouTube Shorts. I have seen shorts of Breaking Bad, Sopranos, Game of Thrones, and much more. However, I had an idea. Could I understand a show without ever watching it through YouTube Shorts? I waited till it would recommend me a show I have not seen, which ended up being The Walking Dead. So, how will I go about this? Well, for the past month and a half, in my free time, I would watch YouTube Shorts of The Walking Dead. Now, one of the major problems is, how will I know which season is which? How can I understand the story when I am getting a clip of something from Season 8 and I know nothing about the earlier seasons? That's the neat part, I don't. So most of this video will be me trying to figure this out. Now, I watched about, I would say 450 shorts of The Walking Dead, which seems to be a lot, but in the grand scheme, it's not that much. Now, would I say I have an understanding of the story? Surprisingly, yes. I was confused by a few things though. Sometimes I could tell a character died simply due to them being missing. From here on out, there will be spoilers. If you do not want The Walking Dead TV show spoiled, well, you might want to stop watching. However, let's get into my recollection of The Walking Dead through YouTube Shorts. The series starts off with Rick, who is a cop. He is then shot by someone and ends up at the hospital. He gets left behind there because Shane, who is Rick's cop buddy, saw him flatline. Some time passes and Rick wakes up and stumbles out of the hospital. Then some kid hits Rick in the head with a shovel. His father was about to kill Rick but didn't and brought him in to recover. The father's name is Morgan and the son's name is... not a clue. Morgan tells Rick about everything and then Rick takes them to a police station. Then they take a hot shower. Honestly, very confused why I got this short recommended to me many times. Then Rick gives them some guns and goes into a city. Now I believe this city is Atlanta, however, I have no real clue. Rick then gets into a tank and Glenn saves him. Not entirely sure how, never saw that. Glenn then takes them to his group nearby, which has a cast of characters. T-Dog, Andrea, and Merle. Something happens and Merle is racist and gets handcuffed to the roof and they leave the city. Rick joins their group and then meets up with his friend Shane, who is taking care of Rick's family. Rick's wife is... Lori? I think that's her name. And his son Carl. The group also has Dale, Carol, Daryl, Ed, and Sophia. I think there are more, but I never knew their names and they were complete background characters in the shorts. Well, Daryl is Meryl's brother, and he is pissed they left him on a roof, so they go back to get him. Turns out Meryl cut off his hand. At the camp, Ed is abusing his daughter Sophia and Carol or something. Then Shane beats him up. Maybe kills him? I am not sure. I never saw Ed again, so I'm assuming he dies. Then the group goes to the CDC. Some guy named Jenner is there all alone. They are let in, and they eat a nice dinner thinking all their worries are behind them. However, Jenner is gonna blow up the place. They escape, mostly because Carol had a freaking grenade in her purse. Oh, also everyone is infected. I think it takes a while for Rick to tell everyone though. As far as I know, this is all of Season 1. Going further, the seasons kind of blend together, so I might not be as accurate. Then they find a farm, and Sophia gets lost somehow. Carol blames Rick for this. Not really sure why though. Now I think they find the farm due to Carl being shot after touching a deer. On this farm are Herschel, Maggie, Beth, and Otis. If I was to guess, I think Otis shot Carl. If there are other characters on the farm, I have never seen them. Herschel takes care of Carl. People are also arguing all the time now. Shane and Otis go get supplies, but then Shane kills Otis to get away. Now this season is a bit short to me. Herschel turns out to be keeping zombies in the barn. Shane is mad. Then Shane and Rick go out and find some group who knows of the farm, kills 2 of them and brings one back to the farm. Then Shane is holding a vote to kill the man. Dale is angry, but I also think this is where Dale dies? How he dies is a mystery to me. Daryl gets shot by Andrea, who looks so smug thinking she killed a zombie. Oh, also, they don't call them zombies, but they call them walkers. Oh, also, Andrea gave Shane a blowjob. Very important info. They find Sophia as she was in the barn the whole time as a zombie. Then Rick kills Shane because... I really do not know. At this point, Rick seems like a psychopath. Then everyone leaves the farm. This is, I think, the end of Season 2. Season 3, or what I believe is Season 3. This is the last time I think I can guess the seasons. It starts off with them finding the prison and then killing the zombies in it. They also find convicts locked up. The convicts I think all die. I honestly do not know. I know 2 of them die, but the rest I have no clue. There are also new characters named Tyrese and Sasha. They somehow enter the prison without the others knowing. There are other characters with them, but I do not know them. During this, I think the governor shows up. Meryl's also working for him now. Michonne also appears and seems to have an issue with the governor. She has a cool katana. This is also a small note, but I never see Andrea again, so I think she dies somehow. Well, something happens in the prison and Lori gives birth to Shane's baby and dies. I guess I missed that they had a fling? I only know this because Rick explains this to someone in the future, but the baby girl's name is Judith. Well, Carol also kills someone that Tyrese was caring for by burning them or something. Brutal. Somehow Herschel loses a leg. Super confused about that. Meryl also gets killed by the governor for some reason. Daryl then kills zombie Merle. Then the governor takes Michonne and hates her for some reason. Then Herschel gets caught by the governor and gets his head cut off. Now this is where things get really confusing for me. The governor after this just never shows up again in shorts. I am guessing he dies by a split-second clip of Michonne stabbing the governor in the back. Then they leave the prison. I think they leave because the tank blew up the prison. Oh, did I not mention the tank the governor brought? How silly of me. This is where I have zero clue of the order of events. Carol just vanishes? Then Glenn gets split up and meets Abraham, Eugene, and Rosita. I have no clue what happens with Rosita. She never appeared again. Well, then the group gets caught by cannibals. Also, Abraham's group gets caught as well. I think they are saved by Carol, which at this point is confusing to me. At one point she was shown to be weak, and the next she's the most badass character. She blows up the place and just saves them all, while they leave and kill the cannibals. Then they are eating some dogs. What became of T-Dog actually? Then they are in a barn and get contacted by some guy. I had to look up this guy's name, but his name is Aaron. Leads them to a place called Alexandria, whose leader is... Again, I had to look up her name, but a character named Deanna. Rick is now the sheriff of this place, and some things happen? They don't trust Rick, but they do when a murder happens. Daryl also joins a gang of bad people? Carol and Tyrese also have Judith the baby. This is confusing. Then Carl gets possibly kidnapped by the group that Daryl is in. Then Rick bites a guy's throat out. These events could be out of order. I really have no clue. Well, then Daryl meets with Abraham's group and gets some guns. Rick meets Trevor from GTA 5 and gets cocky to him. Daryl then blows up some bikers with an RPG. The group they blew up was ran by Negan, who then kills Abraham and Glenn by bashing their heads in. Then Negan makes Rick's group do supply runs or something. Oh, also, I have no clue when it happens, but they pick up a priest. Also, Carl lost an eye at some point. I think a kid shot Carl in the eye. So yeah, Carl's missing an eye now. Well, Negan likes Carl for whatever reason. Negan and Rick fight it out sometimes. Then Carol finds some guy with a tiger, which the tiger likes Daryl. This guy calls himself King Ezekiel. Then Sasha's going to be Negan's wife, but then she kills herself. Negan was going to give her back to Rick. However, Negan opens up a coffin and a Walker version of Sasha pops out. Then the tiger attacks Negan randomly. Then Negan gets Eugene to make bullets for them. Also, Trevor from GTA 5 tries to take over Negan's group, but fails. Then Eugene betrays Negan by making all their guns blow up. Yeah, I was confused by that. Then Rick slits Negan's throat, which Maggie is really happy about, till Rick says to save him. Now, I do not know if this happens before or after, but Carl dies. No clue when that happens in the timeline, but yeah, he dies. Oh, also Rick and Michonne are together now? Now, if you told me this is where the base version of Walking Dead ends, I would believe you. Oh, also, there's this guy with a scar. I had to look up his name, but it's Dwight. He seems to be important, but honestly not a clue how. Everyone kind of hates him. Oh, also, one other thing. This might be one of the most popular shorts of the series. So Negan comes for collections and makes fun of a lady for her weight. Then someone shoots her. I saw this over 6 times for whatever reason. At some point Beth dies. Not sure when. A cop just murders her. Carol and Daryl find this one guy who takes their weapons, but then they let him live? Again, I do not know. The priest also loses sight in one of his eyes. Again, no idea. Morgan also shows up, but is kind of insane. I am guessing Morgan's son died. Rick and Daryl didn't have a fight and blow up a truck. Yeah, sure, why not? Maggie makes a place called Hilltop, which keeps Negan in prison, which Judith seems to be learning from Negan through jail bars? Not sure why they would let a kid near the jails, but alright. Also, they have other prisoners that are, I am guessing, important. Also, there are some trash people and the leader wanted to sleep with Rick. Honestly, the trash people are super weird to me. I think they might have been earlier in the story, but unsure. Then there are people who are pretending to be zombies, and somehow Daryl and Negan team up to stop them. Negan became the alpha zombie, and then just killed them all. I am fairly sure he then goes off to someplace. Guess he got out for good behavior. Also, some guy named Jesus shows up? I have no clue what he does at all. He just steals a truck from Rick and Daryl. Just one of the many mysteries watching a show through YouTube Shorts. Then Rick dies due to blowing up a bridge. But he got better. Now I think The Walking Dead splits up into 4 series. One with Rick, one with Daryl and Carol, one with Maggie and Negan, and finally one with Morgan. The Morgan one is the one I know so little about. One video is labeled as Morgan is immune, which I think is wrong. Morgan also meets up with Dwight at some point. However, Morgan just seems like an insane person just let loose at this point. However, that's all I know of Morgan's side story. Sad, because he seemed interesting. So let's go into the Rick spinoff. Rick joins an army-like organization. They are bad, I guess? I really do not know why though. They saved him somehow from blowing himself up on the bridge. He also lost a hand somehow. I really do not know how though. Then the junkyard lady meets up with him and nothing happens with that? Junkyard people once again being a mystery to me. Then Michonne gets captured by Rick, who is pretending to capture her for reasons? Then she reveals that they have a child together named RJ. Then Rick kills the bald man from Lost and, I guess saved the day? Honestly, I'm a bit confused by how the army was bad. They never did anything bad from what I saw. Also, an odd side note, I think Daryl joins the army people too, as he goes to Hilltop with them at one point. Well, then Rick comes home and sees his 2 kids and lives happily ever after. Or, well, I assume. I never saw anything else of Rick after this. Let's move on to Daryl's show. He decides to go out east and gets contacted by Carol on the radio. She gets cut off when telling Daryl that Rick is back. Then it's revealed that they're special zombies, which I really am unsure if any of this is right. Daryl gets stuck on a boat and has to fight special zombies in a cage match? Then the boat arrives in France? He then goes around France helping people and trying to get back home. But then suddenly Carol shows up. I do have to wonder if she told him about Rick or just assumed it got through and never talked about Rick again. I have no idea how Carol got to France. I swear, Carol is like the most mysterious character in this. Then they reach what I believe is Spain? Then some lady asks if Carol and Daryl were lovers, and Carol is like, oh god, no. However, 2 shorts later, I had a short of Carol flirting with Daryl in season 2, so okay. Daryl also has flashbacks constantly from his youth. That is it for this one. Now the Maggie show. Oh boy. I have seen a lot of shorts from this one, so I feel like I have a good understanding of it. However, at the same time, I do not. Okay, so Maggie has a son named Herschel. Herschel gets kidnapped? Honestly, I'm a little blurry on this. Maggie hears Negan's whistles, so she goes to find Negan, which she is pissed about. Negan, though, is remarried and has a kid, maybe? Then those army people from Rick's spinoff come to kill them? The Tire King Ezekiel is also there. The army's about to kill Negan's wife, but they all get in the way and the army turn on each other. Maggie then finds Negan and tells about Herschel being kidnapped and the whistling. Turns out it was someone that Negan knew, and the guy's name is Croat? Then they go to New York. However, Herschel absolutely loves New York, while Maggie attempts to kill Negan like 5 times. At one point, Negan is like, seriously, this is getting stale. Maggie is like, you killed my husband and I am angry about it, which is fair, but I don't know. Maybe actually do something about it? Well, they find Herschel, who is mad at his mom? I don't know why. I am confused. Negan also is once more a villain. He hosts a dinner party for some people, then just killed them. Then Herschel is like, go kill Negan, Mom, and she goes to try once more. However, she fails to do so yet again. Then comes back and Herschel is gone, and I think this is where the series has stopped at the moment. I think Daryl and Maggie spinoffs are still airing. Morgan's, I have no clue. Now, do I understand The Walking Dead's plot? Well, I feel like I do up to what I think is season 3. Past then, I have zero clue which seasons are which. The Governor is kind of a blank spot for me. It seems like so much happens there, but there are so few shorts of it. Maybe he was not really popular with the fans? Negan seems to be the shorts king though, with how much I have seen of him. The spin-offs though is where I feel completely confused, besides Maggie's, and even then, I am still confused. However, did I get the series plot even remotely close? Let me know in the comments. I asked a friend, which he said, surprisingly a good bit. However, he also told me I got a lot wrong. If there is interest in another one of these, I might do another one. I did this experiment with 3 shows, so I have material. However, this is mostly a gaming channel, so I really won't do many. But, Negan was in Tekken, so it counts. Well, this is the end of the video, so best wishes for everyone till next time and take care.